Arrived from across the world to JFK Airport, but how do you get to the city, to the middle of Midtown Manhattan? Well, today we're going to explore that route via the air train and the Long Island Railroad, which, aside from the taxi, it is one of the fastest routes to get into the city. Join me as we start here at Terminal 5, which belongs to JetBlue, and get all the way to the middle of Manhattan, right at Moynihan Train Hall. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Let me know where you're watching from. So here at Terminal 5 and all the other terminals in New York City, in JFK Airport, you have to go to the upper level in order to catch the air train. Here the air train is located on the third level of the terminal, right above departures. You'll see these signs all around that says air train to other terminals, but we'll be going to Jamaica Station in this case. Right over here, Jamaica Station, where we can catch either the subway, EJZ, or the Long Island Railroad. So does the air train accept OMNY? We will find out. So when going into the air train, you don't have to pay to go between the terminals. Payment has to be done when you exit the air train at either Jamaica Station, Federal Circle, or Howard Beach. Mirna, have I been on the bullet train in Japan yet? No, not yet. I haven't been to Japan yet. I'm so excited to go. So here we go. Kay says I'm lazy. I just hop on the cab when I arrive. Yes, you can easily hop on the cab. I just want to make that clear. Taxi is the easiest way. Use a yellow taxi or Uber or Lyft. There's a few other services out there. Very convenient. They have a flat fare from JFK to Manhattan. However, if you're traveling alone and just want to, for the sheer joy of getting to New York City via train, you can do that. And that's why we're doing this video. Also, if you're traveling solo, you'll end up saving about $30 as well. Because we're about to spend, we'll see how much we'll spend on both the air train and the Long Island Railroad. But you can also go via subway, so you spend even less money. Or you can even take the bus. If you want to spend the least amount of money, $2.75, you get on the bus, which is passing right out there at the moment. You see there? So there we see the air control terminal. Hey, depending on the time of day, cab or shuttle can take a bit of time to do traffic. Yes, indeed. If you're coming here very late at night, oh, you'll get to the city very quick. But if you come here during rush hour time, which is 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., or between 3 p.m. and about 6 p.m., you'll be encountering a lot more traffic. So here we see the shuttle passing in. Right there. This guy over here got here yesterday. He's trying to find a way in. The Long Island Railroad takes you straight to Penn Station, right? As SF Fields, yes, it does indeed. It does indeed. And that's why we're going to take that route today. A, there's service, so I can live stream the entire journey, which I can't on the subway. But B, it's also very quick. And also, it's very, very beautiful views, which we're going to see soon. So here we see the air train from the outside. Now there's a few buses here available, which we see down below. Among them is the Q15, the B15, and the Q3. And there in the distance, we're seeing our destination. We see the iconic Empire State Building and the Chrysler. That's exactly where we're going. How long until you get to Manhattan? Well, let's time it. I started 6 minutes ago. I'm taking my sweet time looking at the views, but let's see. Let's see how long you take by going a little bit more on a slower pace.
Subway service from 2 a.m. until 4 a.m. daily. Please visit MTA.info for enhanced bus service option. Federal law requires wearing a mask at all times while at the airport. Failure to comply with this requirement may result in denial of boarding an aircraft, removal from the airport, and civil penalties.
So I have I have a small bag, so I'm not carrying heavy luggage. So yes, I'm taking my time because I'm showing you more of the stuff around, but if you're carrying luggage, you'll probably take around the same time I am right now. So how long this live stream is how long you'll get there. Let's see. Alexandra, y para todo el mundo que habla español, for everyone who speaks Spanish, es fácil ir del aeropuerto John F. Kennedy a el medio de Manhattan. Todo lo que requiere es coger 2 trenes. El primer tren es el Air Train y después vamos a coger el Railroad, Long Island Railroad. We're taking 2 trains, the Air Train and then the Railroad. So the next train is in 1 minute. So we are heading towards, 4 minutes. So we're heading towards Jamaica Station. So here's the Air Train. So you can travel between all the terminals for free. No payment were required to transfer. For example, if you're transferring flights, it's pretty easy to do so.
Federal Circle for hotel shuttles and rental cars.
And here we have Howard Beach Station.
And Howard Beach for long-term parking, with connections to the A train. Please take your belongings.
Howard Beach goes to the A train, which is convenient if you're staying in Brooklyn. If you're staying in Brooklyn, take the Howard Beach line, and you'll get there faster. If you're staying, say, in Bedford-Stuyvesant, downtown Brooklyn, Fort Greene, Prospect Heights, Park Slope, the A train is going to be convenient. Otherwise, since we're going to Manhattan, we're going to Jamaica Station, where you can take the Long Island Railroad, or if you want to go a little bit cheaper, just take the E train. However, if you're going to Williamsburg, or Greenpoint, or Bushwick, which I know some people might stay actually in Williamsburg because there's a lot of great hotels there, you would have to take the subway, and you have to take it same Jamaica Station, but take the J train. So we're waiting for the next one because this one's going to Howard Beach. We're going to Jamaica. And there are signs in Spanish for any Spanish speakers out there. There are indeed signs in Spanish. Para todo mundo que habla español, hay mucho letreros en español aquí que te puede fácilmente buscar cómo llegar a tu destinación. Alexander.
The next train arriving on track 2 is for all airline terminals and all connecting flights.
Alexander, ve mis otros videos, pero hay montones de sitios bien buenos para visitar. Los barrios más bonitos, en mi opinión, es Soho y el East Village. One of the best neighborhoods to visit in New York City, once you get here, is Soho and the East Village. I really like those neighborhoods. Great for food, great for culture. And there's a few tourist sites in those places as well. It's actually very easy, but people get overwhelmed and are tired when they get to this point. That's my other pro tip. If you're traveling, I've taken train from many airports because in Europe it's a little bit easier to do so. Sorry, my mask is falling down. It's very easy to do so in Europe. So I just go with the flow. I just follow the flow of people. You won't get too lost here in New York City. Don't worry. So just follow the crowd of people. It's very easy.
Attention passengers. There will be no subway service from 2 a.m. until 4 a.m. daily. Please visit mta.info for enhanced
Let's
bus
switch
service
over to
options.
sunglasses.
Federal law requires wearing a
Because
mask
my
at
mask
all
is
times
falling
of
down.
flight. The next train arriving on track 1 is a Jamaica train stopping at Terminals 7 and 8. Federal Circle for hotel shuttles and rental cars, and Jamaica with connections to the LIRR, E, J, and Z train service. Please take your belongings.
Mikhail, to get the ticket, you have to get the ticket when exiting. You have to pay. Not within the airport. It's free within the airport. So lots of space over here, as you can see. Janet is a new subscriber. Hey, Janet, thank you so much for becoming a super urbanist. Welcome. April, you missed New York. Oh no.
The doors are closing. Please hold on.
Why is there no subway service between 2 and 4? It's measures that they took during the pandemic, and the New York City subway system is taking advantage, also doing repairs and upgrades during 2 and 4 a.m. I left my heart in the Serenade Wing, says, who is this? Miss Love. Yeah, I'm gonna miss the TWA hotel. Here we have British Airways.
Please take your belongings. This train on track 1 is a Jamaica train, stopping at Airline Terminal 8.
Trauloch from Dublin, welcome. Trauloch. Let me know how to pronounce your name. Claire, I indeed slept well. Slept like a baby. Comfiest bed I've ever slept on in a hotel. I am not exaggerating. Literally comfiest bed I've ever slept on. So we see the city there in the distance. Oh, so cool. Seeing the city there in the distance. Look at that. So we're many, many miles away from the city.
This is the Jamaica train, stopping at Airline.
I don't know, have I booked my flight? Yes, right here with Alaska. Go ahead, Alaska Airways. Over to Nome. Or maybe to Barrow, Alaska, maybe. A bit more adventurous. Whoa. The turns here are so fun. They gotta make the New York City subway this fun. So this is not monorail. This is called a people mover. This is a people mover rail. It's kind of halfway between heavy rail and light rail.
We are arriving at Terminal 8.
This is Terminal 8, which is a beautiful terminal. Are air trains autonomous?
This train on track 1 is a Jamaica train.
I think they are. Yeah, I think they are autonomous. I don't see any operator. I think they're autonomous. That's crazy. Yeah, no operator. Oh, that's cool. We really do need this for the subway system. Like, why? They should just install more people movers in Queens, Bronx, and Brooklyn, and Staten Island. Everyone, let's petition the city to install more people movers, which is the type of train we're on right now, all around the outer boroughs. Ian says it's the DLR in London. Oh, London has one of these. Oh, so cool. I gotta visit those. I think there's like an emergency service here. Central operator. You can press the big red button. This is really fun. This is like a light roller coaster. If you're afraid of roller coasters, come on this. It's a little bit lighter. Yeah. Will, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you. This is unbelievably so much fun. So here we have the cargo areas of the airports. Here's what we have Lufthansa Cargo, where one of the largest heights in New York City history took place. More than $7 million were robbed. It was depicted in the Martin Scorsese film Goodfellas. So now we're heading to Jamaica, Queens. Someone earlier asked about the bus. So the bus, you will have to transfer. You have to take either bus subway, or if you do 2 buses, you're going to take quite a while. It's going to take quite a while. Natalie, we are indeed going to Jamaica. Not the country, but the neighborhood in Queens. Here's another people mover. You know, for the sheer pleasure of just riding this air train, I would recommend it over the taxi. If you're traveling solo especially, it's just so much fun. If you're traveling with a family, you might end up spending as much money as taking a taxi.
We are arriving at Federal Circle for hotel shuttles and rental cars.
Miss Love says a central dispatcher. Yep, a central operator is like a dispatcher, yeah.
Jamaica, with connections to the LIRR, E, J, and Z train service.
So don't get off.
This train attracts with the Jamaica
Don't get off
train.
too soon. This is Federal Circle. This is not the stop for Jamaica, Queens. It's not the Long Island Railroad. This is for rental cars. Federal Circle. So don't get off here.
Please stand clear. The doors are closing. Please hold on.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please. Doo-doo.
This is the Jamaica train, stopping at Jamaica with connections to the LIRR, E, J, and Z train service. Ladies and gentlemen, the air train fee is $7.75.
Is Jamaica Queens the end of the line? It is, Mirna, yeah? I wish it continued forward. You know, there were talks of making the air train extend all the way to LaGuardia, which is northern Queens, and we're in southern Queens. I wish they would have done that, but no, it hasn't happened yet. So yeah, it's only the end of the line. I wish they would just extend it and just make it a subway line. That would be so amazing. So here we see Queens, our great borough of Queens. New York City skyline there still in the distance. This should be the Belt Parkway one or the Van Wyck. No, that's a Belt. And I think we're going to pass right above the Van Wyck. So originally when the Van Wyck was constructed, around the time when the airport was constructed, the city wanted to include public transportation already in around the 40s. They wanted to include public transportation into the design of the Van Wyck Expressway right down here. But our great master planner, also known as the Master Destroyer of New York, Robert Moses, said no. He wanted pure cars. And the thing is, with pure cars, he didn't realize that a lot of more people were going to use cars and end up getting a lot of traffic. And the Van Wyck is notorious for being very ridden with traffic because there used to be no public transportation option. Now, luckily, they added one. They kind of clobbered one on. Action Kid, nice to see you here. So we're passing right above the highway. I think more people movers should be built above highways to just take advantage of the routes. Hey, Action Kid, nice to see you here. Welcome. Wendy, you love these views. I'm so glad, Wendy. Right there, we see Jamaica Queens. Jamaica Queens is a little bit of a higher rise neighborhood now. It used to be pretty low rise as compared to the rest of Queens. But Queens has been growing, and it's not just Long Island City. Queens is also growing over there in Jamaica Queens, which we see all these high-rise apartments there in the distance. So that's our destination. Or the way our transfer. How old is the air train? It is a few years old. If anyone can let me know exactly when it opened. Gordon, nice to see you here. Welcome. All right, we're doing a crazy turn. I think we're going to get here to the city very quickly, actually. There's also a plan, instead of using a people mover, which is the type of train we're in, which is considered light rail, there was a plan to actually use the Long Island Railroad and actually extend the Long Island Railroad into the airport, but that was scrapped as well. So potentially, rather than doing the transfer like we have to do now, if it would have went the other way, we could have actually just gone directly into the city, potentially. SF Fields and Yahya says 2003. Thank you so much. 2003 is when it opened. I remember seeing it being constructed and I was amazed. So here's the Long Island Railroad station. This is not a terminal because this is the hub in Queens that continues towards all points east or west, I mean. All right, we have arrived to Jamaica. Nope, not the land of reggae and Bob Marley and jerk chicken. No, there's still Bob Marley, still jerk chicken here you can find, but it is Jamaica Queens, the neighborhood. Ironically, a lot of Caribbean Americans do live here. So yes, you will find jerk chicken also in Jamaica, Queens, like you will in Jamaica, the country. All right, so this is the tricky part. It's free within the airport, but you do have to pay to get out. So first I'm gonna show you, here, there are machines to get yourself a Metrocard. You can also get yourself your Metrocard here while you're at it and get yourself a weekly or monthly, depends how long you're traveling. And you can also get your Long Island Railroad ticket, which we're gonna do right now. Oh, limited service. So let's see how much the Long Island Railroad is to Penn Station, right here. Jamaica to Penn Station. You're gonna pay, if it's a weekend, you can get yourself a city ticket. So keep that in mind. If it's a weekend, you can get yourself a city ticket. Grab the city ticket option because it's a lot cheaper at $4.50. $4.50. Otherwise, you will have to go off peak. If it's any other day, you have to pay $7.75, much more expensive. So that is a pro tip. Also, you can take this to Woodside in Queens. So let me actually go on the machines. I'll go over here. So now, that is the Long Island Railroad price, $4.50. But I gotta get myself an air train. But I already have a Metrocard. So I'm gonna use this and refill my Metrocard. Yep, you can get out otherwise. Here's the other Metrocard I have. So you don't have to spend that extra. You're gonna add value. And exactly it tells you $7.75. Credit card. All right. There it is.
No. No, la del 3 no.
All right, so here it is, Metrocard. So to get out, it's like similar to London, a few other cities where you have to get out you have to punch in to get out. This does not apply to the subway. This is only for the air train. Here we go. Keep this Metrocard. Keep it. Even if you don't plan on taking the subway necessarily, just keep it in case. You'll save yourself $1. That is $1 pizza or a bagel. You can buy because this you could use to get yourself a Metrocard ticket to use the bus or the subway. So just follow the directions, very easy to get to Long Island Railroad. It's completely connected. And sorry for the blurriness. Right, there we go. Those machines don't work half of them yet. Don't be deterred if that's an issue. All right. They soon will be history like the token. Yeah, I hope so. I hope you can soon pay with your phone. Okay, so now we are in the Long Island Railroad. So now we're going right into the city. However, you can also go right into Brooklyn. Pro tip, you can get yourself into the middle of Atlantic Terminal if you're staying in Brooklyn Heights, Brooklyn Prospect Park, Park Slope. I mistakenly said that you can take the A train to get to those areas faster, but actually the Long Island Railroad might be faster for those areas in Brooklyn. We're going to Penn Station. Next one is 147. So we got 9 minutes at track 2. So let's go to track 2. Here you can also go to all points east to Long Island. So you can go to Far Rockaway, Long Beach, Babylon, even Montauk, or the Hamptons, if you wanted to. And yes, you can use an app. You don't need to buy a physical ticket. You could just download the MTA ticket app and you'll get there much quicker. So here we have the subway. So if you want to save $2 on the weekend or save $5 on the weekday, you could just take the EJZ. The E gets you all throughout Queens very easily to Jackson Heights. You can also get all the way to Midtown Manhattan, or you can go all the way down to World Trade Center. The JZ gets you to all throughout Brooklyn. You can go all throughout the middle of Queens, to Bedford-Stuyvesant area, to Bushwick, Brooklyn, and also to Williamsburg, if you're staying in Williamsburg. So we gotta go track 2. Let's go. Here we are. I'll show you. Here we see Penn Station. It also goes to Kew Gardens and Forest Hills and Woodside. So this is a local. There's also express ones. Is that where Jay-Z got his name? I think so. I think that's what a lot of people do say. I got confirmed that. Alexander. Have I been to Montauk? Yeah, I have, Myrna. The videos are actually up on Urbanist Bonus. Go Urbanist Bonus page on YT, or just on Facebook, go to my regular Urbanist and search Urbanist Montauk. Where can I catch the Metro North from the airport? Ooh, Adam. Oh, that is more complicated. Oh, that's so complicated to catch the Metro North. Yeah, so you're better off taking a taxi, to be honest. But if you really want to get there via subway, you have to take the E-train. Take the E-train, transfer to the 6 once you get to like 53rd Street, and then you just take it like one stop to Grand Central Terminal. So you got to take 2 subways instead of just one. Oh, it's windy. Let's go all the way to the front of the train. Pro tip, front of the trains tend to be a bit emptier than here in the back. A lot of people board here from the back. Ooh, so cold today. What happened in the spring, ladies and gentlemen? Why no spring here? SF Field says, oh gosh, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone not familiar with the with the transit system. Wait. All right, let's play some music. All right, so that was Neon Glow from the Urbanist original soundtrack. And what time is it right now? Let me know. What time is it? I don't have a secondary phone or a watch or anything, so I usually don't know the time because I'm live streaming at the same time. Let me know, what time is it? So the only downside is we gotta wait like a crazy long time. We gotta wait 17 minutes. This is way longer than I expected. Usually, Long Island Railroad did some cuts. It says it's 1:44. It's weird because it's 1:44 and the train is at 1:47. It says 18 minutes. Is it late? I think the train is late. Yeah, I think the train is crazy late. Wow, this train, either the sign is wrong or the train is insanely late. So unfortunately in New York City, they did some big.
Electric terminal now rounding on track 3.
So the Brooklyn one is on time, the Brooklyn one, but the Manhattan one, oh, that's crazy delay. I rarely counter more than a 10-minute delay. It's rare that it's more than a 10-minute delay. This is very rare, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it is common for 5 to 10-minute delays, but it's rare that it goes above 10. I'm surprised, actually. I gotta put on my gloves. It's gonna be a long wait. Oh no. I don't like the waits either. But I'm happy to show you more of the views as we're here. Let me just put my camera down and put on my gloves and hat.
.147 train to Kew Gardens, Woodside, Penn Station will be departing from track 2. This train is currently operating 15 minutes behind scheduled time. Time is 1:47. Please stand clear to closing doors. All aboard track 3.
Yeah, 15 minutes behind schedule. Oh, I'm a little bit bummed out, everyone, because I wanted to show you how fast this is. and no. Oh, no. I'm sorry to disappoint. It ain't gonna be fast. It's gonna be quite a slog to get there. Yeah. Long Island Railroad recently has been doing massive budget cuts. And doing massive budget cuts due to the pandemic, and they also blame that there is very little people taking the Long Island Railroad, but they also have raised up the prices. So, and also the executives of the Long Island Railroad have received some of the biggest bonuses ever in the history of the railroad this past year. So there's a lot of issues with public transportation, with management. They think they'll get more customers by cutting service and increasing prices. That's New York City. That's the problem with a city that still hasn't yet realized the power of public transportation.
Woodside, Penn Station will be departing from track 1. This is the track change for this afternoon, currently operating 15 minutes behind scheduled time. 2 o'clock train to Woodside and Penn Station next on track 2.
And the MTA was formed to push out Robert Moses. Oh, Jesse, that is an interesting part of the history. Where's a great coffee shop when you need it? There isn't. This area, while it is growing, and I am optimistic that there will be a coffee shop, good coffee shops popping up at some point, there isn't yet. It's all Dunkin' Donuts. I think there's like 2 Starbucks and the rest is Dunkin' Donuts. There's not that many coffee shops here in this area of Jamaica, Queens yet. Susie says Uber time. We can take a taxi. Oh, now we gotta go on track 1? Yeah, track 1 now. Switched over. So a taxi, we can find out if you want to. We only got 12 minutes for the train, which is not too bad. But it would be interesting to try the taxi. And MR, I don't talk about topics outside of travel, so feel free to ask me anything about travel. We don't talk about news. Lisa, history on Jamaica, Queens. Oh, Jamaica, Queens. Jamaica, the word does not come from Jamaica, the country. It actually comes from anglicization of a word from the Native Americans that lived here. I don't mind waiting, just need a seat, says Helen. How much is a taxi? I think a taxi would the thing is, we're no longer in the airport, so it's not a flat fare. So I think a taxi would charge around $60 to $70 to get to the middle of the city. Kurihara says about 50. Yeah, I think SF Field says it's 52. But since we're not in the airport, it's no longer going to be a flat fare. So if there's like traffic, or they have to reroute, or they have to pay a fare, then it can get much more expensive. Ida, yes, my merch can be shipped to most countries around the world, yes. It does not feel like spring today, no, not at all. How reliable is the Long Island Railroad? Well, as I mentioned, Long Island Railroad is not as punctual as London, or maybe even Paris, but it's still pretty good. I think it's pretty low actually. I think about like 64 to about 72, 74%, anywhere between that range, trains arrive on time. So it's much lower than the country like city like London or Tokyo. Tokyo is like 98% or 99%. I'm afraid that this train is going to be packed also. I hope it's not packed. There's one line where everything gets really, really packed on the train because there's so many people traveling on them. Alexandra says the spring went on vacation on TWA. Mikkel, yes, if you're traveling with a family, it's much cheaper to go on taxi. Robert, I don't have a second phone, so I can't do Uber at the moment. I wish I could check it. What will it take for the Long Island Railroad to be on time 90%? Oh, I don't know. You know, that's a much more complicated thing to kind of solve. So I don't know. Hey, Miles, nice to see you again. But if I were to give an educated guess, I would say one thing that they can better is the places where they stop, because some trains just go local, and I think also due to how the trains have to curve at certain areas. Here in Jamaica, one reason they're late a lot of the time is because there's a massive curve, which we'll see once we get on the train. There's a massive curve that slows down the train significantly, so they can't go in top speed, which is not the case in East Asian countries like Japan or China, where they made much straighter routes. Where are the benches? No, there are no benches here on the. There's like a waiting area, but it's like indoors. I don't go into the waiting area ever. Usually it's not so pleasant smelling. Kay says Uber is between $50 to $60. Oh, thank you so much for checking, Kay. So about 50 to 60 from here. If you're pregnant, I mean, people usually will be just happy to give you a seat if you're pregnant or handicapped. Handicapped, these trains are indeed accessible. So there are elevators to get onto the track, and then there are certain designated areas to board the train where they can put a ramp for a wheelchair. Claire says my patience will be rewarded. Well, Claire, this is like my I take New York City trains all the time, so there's really no big reward for me at the end of taking this train necessarily, aside from
2 o'clock train to Woodside and Penn Station now arriving on track 2.
Aside from the joy of showing you how to get to the city. Helen says my back is killing me. Touche, Helen. They're so worried about homeless sleeping on the benches they took them all out, Babu. That is indeed the case. That is indeed the case with most train stations in New York City. What happened with the train? I don't know. 15 minutes is quite a long delay. As I mentioned, while I do encounter 5 to 10 often, 15 is quite a lot.
Tracks 1 and 2.
So there's 2 of them coming in at the same time. I hope this is a long train. Claire says, wait till you're back in the UK. Is UK having issues also with the railroad? All right. Yes, it looks like this car is empty. Fair warning, rush hour, things do get very packed, so I do enjoy traveling more during this time if you have the option. So I'm gonna go here. All right. Should I go put this? Ah, we have arrived. It's empty.
Woodside, Penn Station. The next station is Woodside.
Claire says yes, sense of humor is needed at all times. Indeed it is. So here's the other one. This one's a lot more full. I think this is coming from in here in Long Island. We have a Babylon line, which is a green line, and there's always packed with people. I think it's a very dense part of Long Island. Maybe I'll explore one of its town centers one day. Chestnut Field Kurihara. Yes, this was made by Japanese. This is a Japanese design train. Yeah, it is. These are Japanese design trains. The Chinese really wanted to get in on making trains for New York, but I think New York rejected them. so we're still getting Japanese trains, which are still, you know, top of the line. All right, you guys ready? Are you ready to go into the middle of the city? We'll get there one day. Just take a taxi, to be honest. Take your taxi. Seats are comfortable. Yes, I like the Long Island Railroad. It's a very nice commuter rail. It's one of the comfiest commuter rails I've been on in the US. I went to the one in Massachusetts, and while it was convenient, it was nowhere near as comfy as this one. Canyon says 51 minutes so far. Yeah, Canyon. Yeah, we could have taken off 15 minutes at least. I'm glad I'm not in that other train. That train is very packed. Yeah, we're going back to the city, Dean. We're indeed going back to the city. I love trains. What about you, Miles? I love trains, Miles. Yeah, I do love trains. Are we moving? No, we're not. I think they're letting that other train pass first. What's your favorite train system, Alexander? The London Tube is my favorite train system. I was absolutely amazed by it. I never had to wait more than 5 minutes for any train, period, at the London Tube. I am getting hungry, says Janice says. Get yourself a breakfast and a coffee. I am getting pretty hungry. You should do Amtrak, someone asked me. You know, I've thought about it. I tried to do it when going to Boston, but there was no service whatsoever. Wendy says I'd be on the wrong train. Wendy, you end up in like Montauk and be wondering, where are the skyscrapers? New York City is so low. Mr. Boss says, all the airport and train footage. I want to travel now. You can take the Amtrak straight to Philadelphia in like 1.5 hours. Should we do that just like today? Just like go to Philly? Deb says, it's funny that you say that. As a Londoner, I prefer the New York City subway system. Oh, interesting. Andrew has a great pro tip. He says that you can use the Long Island Railroad app to see how packed each train is, so you can be more COVID safe. We are not approaching Manhattan yet. We still got about 15 minutes, permitting all goes well. So now we're going to enjoy the beautiful views, the vistas of Queens, my home borough. Spencer, you're traveling to New York soon. Yes, that's awesome. Everyone slam that like button. Just like the conductor slamming that speed pedal to get us as fast in New York City as possible. Slam that like button right now. And let me know if you're on Team Like. Or if you're on FB, slam that love or wow face. Slam that love button. And let me know if you're on Team Like. My father had the habit of falling asleep on trains, and he always was missing them. Missing his stops, says Wendy. Oh no, Wendy. I have like a third. When I fall asleep on the train, I just end up waking up exactly at my stop. That sixth sense has only failed me like twice in my life. All right, everyone, we're taking the scenic route today. It's gonna be a slower train ride.
Excellent. Have a great day.
You too. So he checked my ticket, and if it's only one stop, they just punch it and take it. That's what they do. So Queens is rich and poor. Yeah, I mean New York City, that's New York City. This is Queens, yes. These areas are not abandoned, ladies and gentlemen. We are passing through middle class housing. This is middle class housing. Queens a middle class area. Queens has all classes. There's very rich neighborhoods, there's very poor neighborhoods, and there's middle class. I would say Queens has a whole lot of middle class. I'm not sure of the statistics, but it's a whole lot of middle class. Here's Kew Gardens. Beautiful Kew Gardens. I love this neighborhood. Check out my Kew Gardens video. End up getting coffee out of nowhere from a fellow urbanist. And we met like, 10 urbanists on that Kew Gardens live video. Let me know if you remember it. Miles, but you seen the abandoned buildings? Yeah, you'll see island. Needs to be more manufacturing or like warehouses along the railroad. So imagine having a backyard with views. And some people. Irene says, yeah, I remember it. It was fun. Claire says, yes, we remember. Janice says, yes, the woman came out with a coffee out of the blue. Kathleen, you follow a Russian YouTuber and all the buildings look the same. There's a few Russian cities that has beautiful architecture. Forest Hills, another great neighborhood. Lots of awesome things to see. Beautiful church right over here. Home of the Ramones. They just got sedated over here. Kew Gardens reminds me of London. Yeah, it has quite a look of London. Do people recognize you when you go to places because of urbanists, Mandy? Sometimes. That Kew Gardens video is the most amount of people. It was about 10 people. 10 people spotted me. How would you rate your experience at the TWA hotel? I absolutely loved it. Great night stay. The only one thing I would say is I wish I had better food, but everything else literally was amazing. Don't go there expecting good food, but do go there expecting beautiful architecture, wonderful cocktails, and a great night stay. What's your favorite Ramones song? Hey, oh, let's go. Da, 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 da. Let me know what song that is. That's my favorite Ramones song. Where did Andrew? Jamaica, I think. That's where the Cuomos are from. Lisa, I did feature a pizza from Kew Gardens, indeed. Superman, $227 for a night at the TWA Hotel in JFK Airport, Terminal 5. Blitzkrieg Pop, yes! Hi, my favorite song. We're in business now. Oh yeah, we're speeding up. There's Queens Center Mall, there in the distance. With all this speed, I'm working up an appetite. Miles, what inspired me to start a YouTube channel? Great question, Miles. Alexandra, feel free to post up the command for that, or any of the mods. Long story short, ever since I was little, and I was part of Vox Media, and I started their Facebook Live programming, and I fell in love with doing live video. And my camera was 43,000 views, which was insane. Immediately. I tried vlogging before, but did not like vlogging. I preferred live video because it's longer, you can take your time, you don't have to edit, and it's cool because I can take hundreds of thousands of people with me through all these places. So that's why I'm doing live video. And the reason I cover history, architecture, and food, those are one of the best things about travel in my, and I don't see too many other travel shows focus on those, but not so much on the architecture and history. And sometimes they're tied together, especially history and food is tied together. Oh, Ronald, welcome, nice to see you here. ¿Cómo está acá? Is the Long Island Railroad the train that goes to JFK? No, we just transferred. It goes to Jamaica, Queens. The train that goes to JFK is called the Air Train. So this is a transfer. What's for lunch, says Gary? I'm thinking about, my stomach is growling, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're hearing what sounds like a grizzly bear, don't worry, there are no bears in this train. It's just my stomach because I'm hungry. Hello, Zion. Nice to see you here. Hello, Mandy. Will you take us for lunch, says SF Fields. Does anyone want a lunch cast? Let me know.
This station is Woodside.
Woodside, Queens. Here you can access Little Manila, home of a lot of Filipino bites. We're walking distance to Sunnyside, beautiful neighborhood, lots of great coffee shops in that neighborhood. You can also take one train, which is the 7 train, one stop, to my hometown of Jackson Heights and eat food from all around the world in only a few blocks radius. I have videos on all these places, all within walking distance of this station, Woodside. All right, the people have asked for a lunch cast. I will be doing a separate lunch cast after this live video. After we get to Manhattan, I'm gonna do it maybe 30 minutes after or 40 minutes after. So stay tuned a little bit later today. Or maybe not 40 minutes after, maybe immediately after because I'm very hungry. What is our station? Our station is the terminal, the very last stop on this train, which is Penn Station. Penn Station stops at 34th Street and 8th Avenue. That's the right underneath Madison Square Garden, a few blocks away from Hudson Yards, like a few blocks away from Times Square as well. Y'all taught us so much about New York. Oh, I'm so glad. See you here. There we go, we see the city. Yay, we have the city there within our grasp. It's so close yet so far away. Will we get there on time? Let's see. I think we're gonna get here under an hour and a half at least. If it weren't for the delay on the train, I think we would have gotten here under an hour. The drama is building up because the door is open. That's why the sounds are loud. Look at that. We're not seeing the New York City skyline. No, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Long Island City skyline. That is the skyline of Queens. Queens, right over here. Natalie, do I travel alone? I do most of the time currently because I do videos. This is my career. This is my job. So I focus on this, and hence I tend to travel on my own. If I were to travel with a friend or a significant other or a family member, they would have to understand that I'm making videos. Here's Long Island City. I love this perspective. This is Queens, not Manhattan. This is Queens right now that we're looking at. Queens is growing very quickly. Soon this train will be underground, I think, and it will be decked over and you'll be seeing skyscrapers on top of it, I think. In about 20 or 30 years, that's my prediction. Here's the original skyscraper in Queens. It used to be called the Citibank Building. Now it's owned by another company. And now we're into the tunnel. Let's hope we don't lose service. Crossing fingers. Into the tunnel we go. To the underground. Underneath the East. Will we make it? I think we will. Oh, look at that. Oh, now it's time to sleep. It's so quiet. It was loud because the door was open. Yeah, it's so good. So, yeah, it's about an hour. It's about an hour. If it weren't for the delay, we would get here in an hour. And it's a great route. awesome views. Those views, I think, alone are worth it. You do get them in the taxi, but you get like a different view if you're riding in from the Midtown Tunnel. If you get the subway, you won't see those views, unfortunately. And actually, I'm gonna sanitize my hands, so bear with me. I was touching a bunch of machines. Just gotta find my hand sanitizer. There's no views I can show you here, so. If you have any last remaining questions before I show you Moynihan, do let me know. Now we're all set. Miles, you have a question, feel free to ask, Miles, or forever hold your peace. Pro tip, if you have a question, just ask right away rather than preface it. See your question. And from the platform. Stay tuned. You'll have to be able to admire your reflection. Isn't that what everyone does? Oh. The train is good as if you chartered it. Yes, it feels like that.
We are now approaching Penn Station.
I used to love seeing 5 points.
This is the final stop on this train. Please take this time to make sure you have all of your personal belongings. Please watch your step between the train and the platform. There's a gap.
Mind the gap.
We're going to be arriving today on track number 21. That's 2-1.
2-1.
This train will take no passengers. Uh-oh, okay. Go as fast as possible. Penn Station does still indeed exist. However, Penn Station is very unpleasant right now due to construction. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people who are homeless inside, and it has quite a, certain people are indeed a little bit, they are acting a bit, which is a bit more pleasant. Do not, don't go to Penn Station. Save, go to the much more beautiful Moynihan. All right, I gotta walk fast. You should have loop on that railway. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if that railway would loop, but no, it doesn't. It's heavy rail. Basically. All right. Wendy says, tell me 1,000 times I always get lost. Don't worry, Wendy, it's okay to get lost. All right, here we are. Are there elevators? There are indeed elevators, yeah. So the station is accessible. There are elevators. Admittedly, I actually never taken them. So I don't know how reliable they are. But the station is supposed to be accessible at all times. This is a way better experience than Penn Station, ladies and gentlemen. So come into Moynihan. We have Moynihan Train Hall. We have all the times for the train. Here we have Long Island Railroad. And here we have the Amtrak. And let's play some music. Welcome to Moynihan. So we got here, take away 15 minutes. If it weren't for the wait, we would have gotten here in exactly 1 hour. 1 hour from Terminal 5 to here, which almost competes with the taxi. So it's good also in time. It definitely does beat it in price if you're traveling alone. Pro tip, if you're coming here, the best coffee shop is not the Starbucks that we just passed, is this Blue Bottle. This Blue Bottle coffee is really good. Are the bathrooms clean? Someone asked earlier. Yes, they are. The bathrooms are very clean here currently. So that's why I recommend Moynihan. Walk to the other end of the station, get off Moynihan. Bathrooms are much cleaner. There's a Blue Bottle coffee. It's a lot nicer architecturally and safer. So I would recommend this area. And we have to complete this by showing you the city, just for proof that we are in the middle of Manhattan. Just in case you have any doubts, I'm going to show you exactly the skyscrapers. So there's plenty of videos that I go through in depth through the Moynihan. Check them out. Search Urbanist Moynihan or Urbanist Penn Station History. You'll find it. So welcome to New York City from Terminal 5, JFK International Airport, all the way to the heart of Manhattan. Right now, we are at 34th Street and 8th Avenue, walking distance to Times Square, walking distance to Grand Central Terminal, walking distance to the Chelsea Market. Beautiful area here in New York City. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Lots of Bobs here. They're all hanging out in his Bobettes, having some lunch. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. This was a journey from JFK. We just took the air train and the Long Island Railroad, and that was it. Just two forms of transportation. A total for $775 plus $450. So you do the math. $11.75, $11, a little bit more than that, 12 something. So thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Keep being awesome, and always keep on exploring. Stay tuned. In a little bit, we'll be finding some lunch. Bye-bye.